Hi, my name is Audrey Kelly. I am in the spring 2021 semester of EDSP 5383, and in this video I will be reviewing the 18 structures of the eye along with a fun fact. So I'm going to start with the anterior portion of the eye and then move to the posterior portion of the eye. So starting with the front, moving to the back. So starting with the conjunctiva. The conjunctiva is a clear membrane that covers the sclera, the outer protective layer of the eye, and it also lines the inner part of the eyelid. The canal of Schlemm is a channel that delivers aqueous from the anterior portion of the eye to the venous system of the body. The iris is the colored portion of the eye, and it maximizes and minimizes the pupil to allow more or less light in. The pupil is a round hole, which is something I thought was interesting. A hole, you can't touch it. It's a round hole in the middle of the iris that allows light in. The lens is a resilient crystalline structure. It's transparent. It focuses light as it enters, and it also moves or accommodates. And so it widens when we are looking at objects that are near to us, and then it thins as we're looking at objects that are far away from us. Next, we have the cornea. The cornea is a transparent part of the outer protective layer of the eye, and its curvature allows for major refraction of light as it enters the eye. The aqueous is a watery-like fluid. It's in the anterior portion of the eye, and it provides nourishment to the structures around it. The suspensory ligaments are thin, long fibers. They connect the lens to the ciliary body. The ciliary body are muscles that allow for that movement we discussed earlier, that accommodation of the lens, and they control that movement of the lens. And so that's the anterior portion of the eye. Moving to the posterior, starting with the sclera. The sclera is the outer protective layer of the eye. It's tough, fibrous, white. It's that outer protective layer. The choroid is the layer in between the sclera and the retina. It's made up mostly of blood vessels, and it provides nourishment to the retina. The retina is the innermost layer of the posterior segment of the eye. It contains photoreceptors, so cones and rods. Those photoreceptors receive the light rays that come in through the pupil, are focused by the lens, and when they come to the retina and the photoreceptors receive those light rays are then converted into electrical impulses that are sent then through the optic nerve, which I'll talk about in a minute, which is how we get our vision in the brain in the occipital lobe. So it converts those light rays into the electrical impulses, those messages. Vision-related messages. Next, the fovea centralis, or the macula. It is a small, thinned-out area of the retina. It contains mostly cones, and it provides high visual acuity. The optic disc is the anatomical blind spot of the eye because it has no photoreceptors. It is where the ganglion cell axons end, and it is at the head of the optic nerve. And the optic nerve is a bundle of fibers, and it takes those messages that I just talked about, the photoreceptors receiving in the retina. It takes those messages, vision-related messages, from the retina and carries those to the brain to be converted into the vision we see. The vitreous is a jelly-like substance, and it fills the posterior segment of the eye. And then last, we have the ora serrata, and it is where the retina ends, and it is the place of the eye where you can see the choroid clearly. So that sums up the 18 structures of the eye. The fun fact that I wanted to share was that the cornea is the only transparent tissue in the eye, which I thought was very interesting. The only transparent tissue in the body, which I thought was very interesting. So that concludes my video. Thank you so much for watching. And I look forward to learning more.